Any cool intros going done, yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Gaming After Dark. It is May the 12th. Yes, it seems like the time's standing still with all this COVID stuff, but the podcasts keep on rolling, and I'm ready to roll tonight. It's going to be a fun show, but I'm Boom Boom Kaboom. Mr. Noof Nukem is in the room. I'm also here with my lovely, talented, and amazing co-host,
Primal Eve.
That's right, guys. She is in the house, and she has told me she is ready to go tonight. But Primal can't stay for the entire show, so we're going to let you guys down early, okay? She doesn't want you guys to get blue balls thinking she's here for the whole thing. So
just drop the sock and, put away the cock. Just have to wait for next week.
There you go. She's getting this stuff out of the way, but we're going to try to drop her question of the week early and everything else. And also, I'm super excited, super stoked to have on my good friend. At least I consider him to be a good friend. He's an amazing podcaster. He's one of the fastest growing podcasters on YouTube right now. He puts in the work and it shows. He is the always incredible, well-articulated, most prepared man on the internet. Give it up for Mr. Boomstick XL. What's happening, Boom?
Thanks so much for the introduction, Eve. It's fantastic to podcast with you again, and you know what? We're gonna have a fantastic show. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you here. Now, if you guys are wondering when Boom sounds maybe a little dilapidated or, a little down, he's kind of in the room. I guess he doesn't want to make too much noise. So he's talking at a little lower level than you guys might be accustomed to. So just thought I'd put that out there. Before we get right into the topics and find out what everybody's been up to, let's check out the amazing chat as always, because we have, I know our room is still small, but we do have an incredible chat that comes out week in and week out. Let's start out with Back from the Dead. He was the first guy that dropped in the room tonight. Almost shocked. Timothy Dixon not here yet. Back from the Dead is here. What's happening, brother? We got Sinju Ronan, Portal players in the house. We got Spider-Man 356. We also have Joe Dunmore is here. Is he related to Cletus Dunmore? Axel 1324. What's happening, Axel? Matt Burns. We've got Darth Vicious. The new nymphos are ready to roll. That's good. Representation. Dreadpool is here. Darth Vicious and I have a running joke from a few years ago when he started watching me podcast, something about nymphs, nymphos, and I kind of ran with it. Lower end of average gaming. Buck Roger. Crispy Bomb. There's Timothy Dixon. There you go. And here, Infinite is here. Yes, I didn't call him the wrong name this week. It's not Infinus. It's Infinite. What's happening, Infinite? Nightwolf is here. Draven Arrow is here. Who else? And there you go, Atrocity Nights. So we got a good crew all ready to go. All right, let's find out what everybody's been up to. I will start with my lovely co-host Primal. I know you've been freaking super busy, super tired as always, but what have you been able to even play? I know I saw you playing your regular jam earlier.
I was playing some Apex. The new season started today, and there's a new character, Loba. She's fucking hot, like super hot. I wish I could like watch myself third person view type thing. Over the shoulder even. But yeah, I've been playing that, and then I've been playing Warhammer Chaos Bane. That's what it is. It's a top-down Diablo style RPG. I've been itching for one for a while. I've been playing a couple here and there. I just want Diablo 4 already.
Isn't there one on Xbox Games of Gold? Is that the one?
That was the one that they had the free-to-play a couple weeks ago, like the gold weekend or whatever. And I tried it out with a buddy of mine, and we really liked it, so that's what we've been doing. Other than that, no, I haven't done anything. I try and catch up on Twitter. Like I'll pop in here and there during my breaks at work, but honestly, I'm taking a nap in my back seat. if anybody at work watches this, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, that's been my lately things.
That's your lately routine. Let's catch up with the chat again before we head over to the guests. Blue Moon FC, what's happening? Jesse Derby, what is up? I'm glad you guys can be here. Somebody got some tunes going?
Right.
All right. Let's get over to our amazing guest of the evening, Mr. Boomstick, brother. Between all the amazing podcasts, all the work you've been putting in, what have you been able to sink your teeth into game-wise?
I've been playing two games that really grabbed my interest. First of all, I went back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey to kind of
Nice.
finish off the DLC. I have almost all the. I think I'm missing 3 achievements from the whole thing. That's including all the DLC. I think I'm getting. I think I might have just passed 1800 gamer score. Yeah, I'm a few achievements away from that. That game is fucking incredible. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ubisoft, and I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed, franchise. But the last 2 really are the ones that for me anyway set the franchise apart with Odyssey and of course Origins. And I've been playing. I don't know if anyone's have gotten a hold of this game. One Finger Death Punch. It is
heard of it.
Fucking incredible. My God, it's so good. And you're literally just pressing the X and B button, and I can play that game for 3 hours, and just in a snap, it's gone. So that's what I've been outside of writing the 4 shows, but that's what I've been sinking my teeth into.
Nice. Now, I'm sure some guys will give me some booze in the chat, but I've been over on the PlayStation since I picked up my, I think my 5th unit so far. New Phenomics. But I've got to say, and I never thought I'd really say this, but I'm enjoying the hell out of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm only several chapters in, but there's something about the game that just kind of has me hooked. I'm loving it. The graphics are amazing. It's smooth as butter. Really enjoying that. I've also been trying to finish up and complete Detroit Become Human, another fantastic game that I'm really enjoying. The story, the graphics there are just absolutely dynamite. There's just a bunch of stuff I've been trying to play. My backlog is long, but I said the other night on Twitter, ever since I moved into my new house, it's really weird. I'm in this bit of a funk where I just haven't been really in the mood to game for some weird reason, and I don't know if it's because I'm located in the basement now, whereas it was more cozier and comfy where it was before. I don't know, but either which way, that's kind of what I've been playing for the most part. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Streets of Rage 4, got a couple more levels to beat in that, and also looking for somebody to co-op that shit with, because that game is super fun. If you guys love the old Streets of Rage, you're gonna love the new one. Go pick it up if you haven't had a chance. If you got Game Pass, you got it already. If you don't, it's about 30 something bucks Canadian. I picked it up for the 30 something bucks because, as you guys know me, I refuse to get Game Pass still.
It'll happen one day.
It may change. I just wanted to get this out of the way before we get into the topics. Oh, yes, and we have a super chat already in the chat. Nightwolf drops a $5 super chat. He says, speaking of Ubisoft, is anyone else looking forward to Beyond Good and Evil 2? Dying to know more soon. Yeah, I think a lot of us are, if you remember the first one. Let's catch up with the chat as well. Blue Moon FC is here. Crispy Bombs in the house. Dreadpool. Spider-Man 356. Alex Basher, what's happening, brother? Thanks for being here. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, so I just wanted to also let people know that this weekend we're planning another community game night. And this time I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I didn't want to have all fucking shooters because I've been hearing, people are like, we got to play something different other than Call of Duties and Gears. And so this weekend, I put 3 up on the list. There's 2 days left to vote on it, but it looks right now like the runaway is Forza Horizon 4. I put up the choices on Twitter at GTA 5, Forza Horizon 4, and Mortal Kombat 11. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm cool with either one, but it looks like Forza Horizon 4 has 45.6% of the vote right now. So if you guys want to change that and pick a different game for Community Game Night, get over to my Twitter page. Just scroll down. You'll find it and vote on it there. So that's coming up this Saturday, and hopefully we get that on the go at around 8 Eastern, which is around 6 Mountain Time. But anyway, let's get back to it, shall we? We got lots of topics to get into. I don't want to keep our guests and Primal too long. She got to go pretty soon.
I do have a quick question, though.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead. What is it?
Do anything. And this kind of rewinds back to one of our other episodes. Since you've played Final Fantasy VII, because I have to defend it, do you think it deserves Game of the Year still?
Well, I'm not that far along to kind of go giving a Game of the Year honors,
but it's a contender.
I think it's a contender. I think based on what I played so far, the fact that they pay homage to the nostalgia and the original game, but they do it so well and sort of a new way to do it. And like I said, I'm having fun with it. That's the main thing, is you're having fun. The characters are pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely can see it getting nominated. So we'll see. But there's a lot of games left to come out this year too. So
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's get down to the topics, shall we? We got a few to go through tonight. We're gonna get a good show lined up for you here. Some big events and stuff dropping tomorrow. First of all, before we get into the first one, because we didn't get to talk about this. I talked a bit about it with Boom on his show last week, but we had the Xbox Inside Xbox, and I didn't get to hear kind of what your take was, Primal. So I don't know if you did. You get a chance to catch up with that? There's been a lot of commotion. Some people love it. Some people didn't like it. Where are you on Inside Xbox? Was there anything that you saw that stood out to you? Did you think it looked like, oh my God, this is reason to buy an Xbox Series X?
Well, it was exactly kind of what I predicted that it would be. More third-party things and stuff like that. I'm not disappointed and I'm not excited. I'm just kind of like, okay. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just caught little clips here and there, and I read enough of other people's crying that to realize that I didn't miss anything too exciting.
Did you like obviously you being a big RPG fan and stuff, did you like the direction with a lot of the JRPG stuff? Because I know we saw
that's
Namco Bandai came out with a banger there, like that anime style action game.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Namco has done quite a few of the anime. They have a lot of actual JRPGs under their belt, so it is very exciting for me. It's nice because the main reason why I have a PlayStation is for the RPGs. It'd be cool just to kind of have like two different developers on two systems. I'm not going to say which one's better or not, but it's just like I like having more options and give me the JRPGs because that's what gets me going.
Right.
Yeah, the name of that game was Scarlet Nexus.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course they followed that up with a bit of a shocker. And you're getting the Yakuza or Yakuza. Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah, that is like the on release day, which we're finally getting the Yakuzas after all these years, but it's going to be there day one. So guys, if you're an Xbox player, that's been fantastic news. Now, Boom, kind of remind us about what your take was on that show and what was your favorite picks from that.
Oh, I had quite a few. I actually, I gave it a B. I gave it a B plus. I quite enjoyed it actually. I mean, listen, I will not walk away and say that I wasn't disappointed with the no controller in hand AC Valhalla demo. Right, when they said that we were going to see the game playing, I was under the impression that we would have seen the controller in the hand of the producer, and he would have been walking around one of the towns, and we would have been able to say, okay, yeah, this is what we're doing with ray tracing, or this is what we're doing with this. We didn't get any of that, so that in itself was slightly disappointing. Yeah, but I mean, we just found out today, thanks to IGN, that The Ascent, which is the top-down Diablo-style game, that's right up, is right up your alley, Primal, because it's cyberpunk.
It's cyberpunk top-down. I know. I'm so freaking excited.
And what's amazing is that is going to be a launch title confirmed today by IGN for the Xbox Series X. That's that's launching launch day whenever the console comes out. So that was one of them. The medium looked absolutely fantastic. That's by Bloober Team. That looks really good. Yep. Scarlet Nexus, maybe it's not something I would buy right away. It's something I definitely would play. Second Extinction looked fantastic because that was like Left 4 Dead with dinosaurs. So it's the Dino Crisis game we've all wanted, and it's multiplayer. It has single player campaign and it has multiplayer. There was a lot to walk away. I mean, there was a couple of cringy ones like the Vampire or Bloodline.
Vampire Masquerade. I did look at that.
That looked a little old. And if Madden 21, take it or leave it. Dirt 5, take it or leave it. But for the most part, I really, really like what they did. I think the issue at hand and the problem that everyone continues to harp on is the gameplay, the usage of gameplay.
Yeah, gameplay. Yeah.
And I think that if you could look at the games, like I watched it 3 times. I watched it before we went live.
Mhm.
I watched it while I was watching the Iron Lords podcast. I watched it there, and then I wanted to see if my ideology was correct. And I watched it when it was uploaded in 4K, and it was a totally different show.
Right.
Totally different show because you got to see what these games really look like. Because the stream on YouTube was freaking horrible.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I said, I guess a lot of it was in the messaging and the way they promoted the show and that big use of gameplay, where we saw a lot of cutscenes, we saw a lot of there wasn't, to their defense, we didn't see a whole lot of that pre-rendered CGI stuff that we're usually typically accustomed to, but again, we wanted to see a little more proof, especially with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we know is a game that's obviously supposed to come out this fall, which is fairly close to probably being completely done. And I think a lot of us are just, we're on the verge of plunking down, $500, $600, maybe more for one of these new consoles. And a lot of us just wanted to feel like, our jaws were on the floor the way we felt when we saw Rise, Son of Rome or the Killzone game back on PS4 back in the day. And those were entry-level games that basically, even to this day, still hold up and kick the shit out of some of the new games that are out there. So let's catch up with the chat, though. We got Dragonheart Yobi. What's up, Yobi? We got the amazing Wilmy Hood. Wilmy Hood, brother. How you doing? Glad you can make it here. Who did we miss? Anime Heaven is in the chat. What's happening? Blue Moon FC. Alex Bash of Born Distracted. Stubbs is here. So we got a good crew in here, guys. If I didn't give you a shout out, just let me know. I want to make sure I try to recognize you while I have the pleasure to do that. Not easy when your podcast starts getting several hundred people because the chat's going to move live really quick. Brian F., what's happening? Justin Marooney. I hope it's pronounced that right. What's up, man? You can do it. You can do it. Look, for me, like I said, I'm not going to, we talked about this. It's old. It's beyond. I like that Bright Infinite Memory game. I think it's Bright Memory Infinite, whatever the hell it was.
Dude, yeah.
That was pretty amazing right from the get-go. Scorn. Surprised Primal didn't say much about Scorn because it looked like alien porn. There was some weird ass shit going on in that one. I was like, what the fuck?
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. That definitely was a penis coming out of the
podcast,
wall.
Boom.
Yeah, the alien penis. That was definitely something.
I missed an alien penis.
You did? Oh, you got to go back and watch the trailer because there's this thing sticking out of the wall and it retracts just like a foreskin, and then this like white ooze starts coming out.
Well, you know what? No, in defense of the penis wall thing that you're talking about, 9 out of 10 times the bosses that you fight in any game looks like a weird sloppy vagina. Whatever it is, Borderlands, a giant vagina. It's always something.
Yeah,
so
those creatures in Gears of War. What do you call them? The ones that swallow you? Jesus.
Oh.
That's what they look like. They look like crab vaginas. Yeah, the snatchers, right? They look like a big crab vagina, like legs, and this big vagina swallows you in. You're like, oh, get me out. It's crazy. What's the? I think one of the weirdest bosses, just while we're on that topic, is I don't know if you guys ever played on the Wii. Yeah, it was the what's that? House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii. That game, the last boss is this giant mutated naked old lady, and she's throwing some weird shit at you, and she tries. It's frigged up. Axel's a snatchers. They're like a shaved snatch. Fastback's got his blue gloves ready. Yes, speaking of blue gloves, I seen it on Twitter, and it was hilarious.
In case you guys haven't seen it on Twitter, I had posted a glove which each finger is like a phallic thing that you use for insertion of either anus or vagina or whatever. And what it says is I found this at a flea market, barely used. I guess it's good for washing dishes or something like that.
It was funny.
It gave me a little giggle.
Yeah, can you imagine going to a flea market and buying some of that shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, really?
Barely used.
This is coming with a bottle of Javex or something, and a guarantee.
Oh man.
Oh man. And I just wanted to put out, this is Gaming After Dark, guys. If you're not familiar with the podcast, this is not your typical podcast that plays it by the book. We do get a little risky, a lot of adult sexual innuendo, some language in this podcast. So just beware of that. I know a lot of you guys, if you're first time coming here, you're familiar with Boom's podcast probably, and you came over. So I'm just warning you, this is not Boom's typical format per se, but we're happy that he can still be here and be with us. But yeah. We do know that when Boom gets raw from time to time, he drops some good F-bombs. So
oh my
every
gosh.
now and again.
Yeah, that's why I was quiet when I first entered, because I was just listening to Boom fucking just dropping the F-bombs like, this is a moment. Be quiet.
All right, so let's get back into the topics. We got a big one coming up tomorrow. This kind of came out of left field. Geoff Keighley announced a special event coming up tomorrow at 11 Eastern Time, 8 Pacific, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. It is a special Summer Game Fest showcase and interview. We're expecting some sort of a big reveal. There's been a few different sources teasing it. We don't know what it is per se, so I want to find out from you guys. And I will start with our guests on this one. What in the hell do you think they're going to be dropping on us tomorrow? Do you think it's PlayStation? I'm going to guess it's probably the PlayStation related, but what do you think, Boom?
You know, it's hard to say, to be honest with you, because, you know, we do have confirmation that Ghost of Tsushima is going to get an 18-minute gameplay trailer on Thursday. So, and we're all excited for that because we're all going to buy the game. But back-to-back PlayStation, I don't know, because Microsoft just had their event on May 7th, which we were just talking about. The only wild card that hasn't done anything or hasn't spoken about anything is Nintendo. And we have heard from, you know, leaks and rumors that this fall we were going to get Super Mario 64 done in HD, and we were getting Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy. So maybe it could be some sort of a Nintendo showcase where they show those games off. I don't know. I'm seriously very excited to see, because, you know, Geoff Keighley, I may not agree with some of the things he's done in the past, but I will tell you, and I will proudly admit that I think that he is very good for gaming.
Agreed. Let's catch up with the chat. We got Fastback is here. What's going on, Fastback, brother?
Well, hey, fiddly diddly, this is Fastback in the chat. Glad he can make it here. We also got Starbuck in that. How you doing, Starbuck? Holy shit, I knew I smelled something funky in here with Salty's Gaming. What's going on, Salty? Hope you're doing good, son.
There you go, guys. We get Salty's Gaming. That was Cletus in the background, and you're putting him back in the fucking closet. But Roger, what's up? So, Primal, how about yourself? What do you think these guys are going to drop on us tomorrow here?
I hope it's more than a logo. That's for sure. But I'm not so sure. I kind of wasn't even thinking about there being a summer special show. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to have something big.
It's not the gaming bikini outerwear show?
Right? No, it would be nice to have something, a really big announcement for all of us, because I think we're kind of we're in this weird funk, kind of getting little bits and pieces of things. I want something solid. Solid as a rock, Neve.
Solid as a rock. Honestly, I don't know. Like in the chat, guys, love to hear your suggestions in there. Personally, I'm really not sure. I mean, like you said, because Microsoft just kind of did their thing.
Right.
And I know that they're not planning to do anything Halo related or first party more or less till late June, early July. So I'm really thinking that that Geoff Keighley's got something. And I'm gonna figure it could be something hardware related with PlayStation, possibly, but somehow I'm doubtful, because I think if PlayStation was going to show off the PS5, I think they'd have done it already. So they might be holding out a little bit longer, because maybe they don't want to steal too much thunder away from Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us, which are just about ready to drop here anytime. Like Boom nodded to Thursday, the Ghost of Tsushima trailers and stuff for that. So that'll be interesting to see how that game looks. Like I said, being nearly done now. So I don't really know. I still got my doubts as Nintendo, because they never really drop a whole lot on anybody else's shows. They always usually through their treehouse. But we do know, we have heard there's a Mario package coming, or like 4 or 5 remasters of Mario games and all that stuff. Speaking of remasters, that'll be one of our next topics in just a second. So I don't know. I'm very doubtful it's anything related to buying a developer. But we did see somewhere, and I don't know who it was. I don't know if one of you guys can correct me on it, but wouldn't somebody tweeted something about an old franchise, PlayStation franchise, coming back to life?
Geoff Keighley actually asked, "What is your favorite old school PlayStation franchise?" So I mean, it could be. Maybe they bring back Twisted Metal. Maybe they bring back Warhawk. One of the older. Maybe Resistance is PlayStation 3. I think
Right.
because he showed the original PlayStation logo in his tweet. So
That's right.
I mean, could we get Battle Arena Toshinden? Kilik the Blood, Ridge Racer. I don't know. I mean, those are the old school games that I think about when I think about PlayStation.
Right. I mean, at some point, I'm almost expecting a new Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter, possibly. Those
that'd be
are
good.
there's so many, but we've had a lot of remakes. I think they did a Jack and Daxter remake not so long ago. Plus, they did the new Ratchet and Clank one about 3 years ago, which was an amazing game, by the way. So yeah, who the hell knows? But that's the wonder of this business. We get up tomorrow, and hopefully, we all keep our expectations in check, because it could be. Portal players saying the Kids Move said it's a new Crash Bandicoot game. That is a possibility. Crash kind of definitely reignited a flame in the nostalgia fans with the remake from about 2 years ago or whenever it was it came out. So you really never know. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow, and we'll definitely be able to chat about that tomorrow night. Boom, you got a show tomorrow too, right?
What? No. Actually, tomorrow I don't have a show.
Oh, that's weird, because I know you usually have one on Wednesdays.
No, the way it works is we have Mondays, we have Thursdays, we have Fridays. I added Wednesday. I take Wednesday off to kind of recharge the batteries.
Yeah, you need a day off.
I'll be with Wilmy Hood on his podcast tomorrow night, so it should be interesting. I think Dealers are with as well, so it'll be lots of fast takes and whatever's going down. Hope everybody's doing good in the chat. But yeah, let's move on to, I guess, one of the biggest surprises from today, and that was the return of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, two very beloved games, which even turned non-skateboarding fans into sort of skateboarders, or game fans and skateboarders into game fans, however you want to look at it. Tony Hawk, I'm pretty sure almost everybody that had a PlayStation, a Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, whatever it was back in the day, Nintendo, pretty much everybody dabbled with Tony Hawk. It was one of those franchises near and dear to the hearts of many, but it really, just like Guitar Hero, started out strong. Then they went to the well one too many times. They tinkered with the formula and basically killed it. The last couple of Tony Hawk games that did come out that were not very well received. They came up with that gimmick one a few years ago with that fake board, and the last Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 5, did not do very well.
No, it was
so
poorly made.
I'm not even a skateboard fan, but I can tell you I love the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. Number 2 was just unbelievable. And when I saw this today, I was like, hot damn, count me in. I want to buy this, because those games are those are the perfect distraction game. They're the perfect game you can pop in and play for 20 minutes. You can play it for 10 hours. They're just fun. They're just fun games, trying to nail those tricks and the great soundtracks that they had. And
did you get a chance to see the trailer?
I did, and it looks so good. Unbelievable. So let's find out what you think. And we'll start with you on this one, Primal. Did you ever get to play the old Tony Hawks? If so, what was your favorite, and what do you think of this announcement?
Yeah. What was my favorite? I want to say no, it wasn't Tony Hawk. It might have been 2. Pro Skater.
A lot of people was 2. Then they went with the Underground series, and they just kind of got away from what worked.
Right, and I could play that all day long. I would come home from school, and I would just totally zone out to the music, kept trying to beat my scores over and over again. And then I remember later on, years later, Skate came out, and that was a big deal, because you would seriously get fucked up when you fell. But they never really did much with the skateboarding games afterwards. There was Skate 2. Was there a Skate 3? No, I don't think so.
I think
Skate 3. Yes, they didn't do one after Skate 3. There's a spiritual successor coming out here in a couple of weeks. I forget what it's called, but it's kind of derived from Skate.
Right. Yeah. But this is really exciting for me, because one, it's different. We haven't had a good Tony Hawk in 15, maybe even more years. So this is really exciting for just there's something different, and a lot of people haven't been able to enjoy the Tony Hawk. Some people don't even know who Tony Hawk is.
Well, that's the beauty of the remasters. It gives a whole new generation an introduction to games that they may have passed up because the hardware wasn't, that sort of thing. And to see Tony Hawk re-envisioned, like I said, with new visuals and probably tweaked controls is pretty cool. Boom. How about yourself? What was your favorite memory of a Tony Hawk game? What did you think of this announcement coming out of nowhere today?
Well, first of all, it was a couple of people in the community, which I want to, say thank you. They hit me up in a DM and they're like, "Hey, take a look at this. It's Tony Hawk 1 and 2 coming out." And I'm like, "What?" Tony Hawk 2 was my favorite. I believe that was one of them that you could use Spider-Man. You can unlock Spider-Man to use, which is kind of dope. And when I saw this, I said, "Wow, let me just take a look at the trailer." And I watched the trailer and immediately pre-ordered the digital deluxe. I put it up on Twitter. I said, let's go, hashtag Tony Hawk Proskater. And you know what? Because I got the digital deluxe edition, I think it was $50. It's $49.99. You're getting both games. And listen, folks, I had a couple of people ask me, like, "Hey, is it worth getting?" If you're a fan of these games and you see what it looked like back in the days and what it looks like now, my God, they did an incredible job. And what's great, and I don't know how to download it, I haven't found it yet. When you pre-order the digital copy, you get the warehouse demo for free. So you can play the warehouse demo to the wheels fall off of your skateboard. Now, I don't know where to find it. I think maybe I'll get that in an email. I'll get it in on Xbox Live. But I am not only very excited, this gives me hope. And I say that because one of my other all-time franchise favorites is SSX Tricky.
Right.
Yes.
One of my brother Neo Mental and I would play that until our thumbs bled. And it is one of my favorite games. So if Tony Hawk can get a remake this stout, it makes me pray that EA takes a look at this and says, "You know what? We're going to bring back some old stuff as well." Because there's been rumors of a Tricky remaster for years. It just hasn't transpired. I hope that we start seeing older games brought back into new graphics. I'm sorry, I like the old stuff.
That just totally excited me because I still, even like this past year, I'll play SSX, the last one that they made on the one and stuff. And unfortunately, there's not a big enough fan base to have the multiplayer still really going.
This is something that a lot of these games over the years have kind of, this is where they've fallen off the wagon. Whether it's snowboarding games, skateboarding games, even like, say, the WWE franchise. One thing, they all look better. They all look super realistic now. They have better, environmental snow physics, all this kind of stuff, textures, character models. But the games they were starting to lose their fun. They were starting to get too simulation, like too much like dual analog control sticks. Like, people want to get in, they want to be able to pick it up and play it. You don't want to sit there and feel like you got to learn the intricacies of some of the biggest fighting games out there. Like that's the thing. Like the old SS Tricky was fun as frig, and it was fast, it was fun, but it wasn't overly complicated. You know what I mean? And that's what I find with the controllers now with so many buttons. A lot of the times you're having to use like your thumbsticks and your triggers and the whole 9 yards, and it feels like your fingers are going to get tired and fall off trying to do all of these ollies and whatever, the way that they got them done. I just want the simplicity of the older games with the great graphics.
I mean, listen, you make a lot of great points. Sometimes overcomplicating controls ruins a game. And I will say this, Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I believe still to this day are perfect. I think they'd lost their way after 2, and it's probably why they did 1 and 2 as a complete package, because everyone anyone that loved this series always reverts back to, 1 was my favorite, or 2 was my favorite, or both were my favorite.
Well, of course, Underground, they got bigger. They went more like a little bit more roaming around and stuff like. And that's the thing. I think with the beauty of the first couple of Tony Hawk games, they were set in these set places like the warehouse, and you weren't out like just kind of, like you kind of got it down, and you just, knew how you wanted to approach your next set of tricks because you weren't wandering off and going, oh, can I grind this rail or can I go over here and stuff like that. Like we don't need open world in every style of game that's out there. Like we just don't need that. You know what I mean? So I think it was a great announcement. I think it sounds like the majority of people say, but that also leads me to one question I'll ask both of you and also the people that are in the chat as well. The remake aspect. We've had this discussion before, and a lot of people ride the fence on it. You got some people that love it, and they can't wait to plunk down their money, and there's various community members who are like, frig that, like we played it, been there, done that, we need some new material. I mean, we're seeing these remakes get fantastic sales. A lot of them are turning out to get great scores. We look at the Resident Evil franchise, for example, 2 fantastic games in that series. We saw Crash come back in both the racing game, Crash Bandicoot CTR. We saw the original trilogy come back, and those 2 games were very successful. Like I said, a lot of these games are coming back. So where do we feel on that side? Because I'm a little bit mixed on it. Like it's hard, as long as I guess they're priced reasonably. That's part of it. You're not forced to buy them. But where do you guys stand on it? And I'll go back to you on this one first, Boomstick.
Look, here's the thing. I have 0 problems with a game being a game that's 10 years removed. Like, for instance, most people want the Mass Effect trilogy redone in HD, right? Give me 4K, give me 60 FPS, with all the bells and whistles. I'm going to be honest with you. If I not only applaud it, I would immediately buy it and spend 120 hours running through those games because they're fucking amazing, right? So
if they make it for the Switch, I'm fucking sold.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I understand that remasters are a dirty word, but like, for instance, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, right? The single player dropped for $20. I played through it. I'm about to beat it. And I loved every minute of it because I like the single player Call of Duty. What's wrong with the game looking better and playing an older game that you enjoyed? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if they give you they charge you $60 and you're getting, not even a fresh coat of paint, you're just getting new achievements, then of course, that's where we run into the problem. Yeah. But I have 0 problem with remasters, especially of older franchises that I loved and would not mind running through again.
Yeah. Primal, how about yourself? Obviously, you got to be excited because some of the games that you've loved and played over the years, Shadow of the Colossus, you mentioned, got a fresh coat of paint and upgraded controls. We also saw, again, Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out and obviously blowing the doors off of things. So how do you feel?
I'm completely for it because I'm a replay person, be it single player or whatever. I love replaying games because each time there's going to be something different that maybe I didn't notice, or I can go about it just a different way. Mass Effect would be incredible, remade, remastered, just Mass Effect it. That's all I really want from that. Yeah. It's great to go back and have those feelings again. Yes, sometimes there are those points where it's like, yes, I already been there, done that. That's why these remakes and remasters have to be done so carefully so that it is playing it all over again. Plus, my kid should be turning 13 next month, which blows my mind. For her, it's difficult to get into an older game as it is. She's so used to how things are now. So to have all these older games kind of, be redone, it's really cool to see her enjoy everything that I enjoyed years and years ago. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards it, and I'll give you my 2 points, and then we'll move on. Is that one? It allows generations who are just getting into gaming a chance to experience games they would have probably never known about or never have experienced because they didn't have the hardware. They just don't want to go back to, say, the last gen hardware, and hooking up the old consoles, for example, is not so great anymore, putting them on your new TVs and stuff like that. So that's the thing. New people get to experience great games because they're still great games, but they're probably improved, which means they're probably even better. And second of all, they're great ways for these companies to pad their accounts with extra income, because we know remasters, yes, they still cost a bit of money to make, but let's put it this way, it's a safer gamble for them. Because I think Capcom knew right from the get-go that by remaking Resident Evil, it was probably going to do reasonably well, just because they have a large fan base that played it. So not only did fans like Boom run out and buy it, first thing because he loves the franchise, but new players got to play the franchise that probably would have hated it if they'd played the original game, but now they can go and enjoy it because of the new controls, the new graphics. It's on a console that they own. So this is the thing, and anytime a company can offset their losses by making a remaster and then basically getting enough money, because money in the bank is always good, especially when these companies want to make a new IP, because they can say, well, at least if this new IP that we're making doesn't become a runaway hit for us, we can sort of pad the offset costs by using 2 or 3 remakes in our lineup. You know what I mean? Like it's never a bad thing. It's it's like Netflix, man. Like for every great movie they have on there, there's probably also 10 duds, right? But that's how they pad. That's how they pad the finances. That's how they keep new people coming in. So I'm not against it. I do like it when they do remakes and not say just an upgraded resolution.
Right.
Like for Mass Effect, I think number 2 and 3 are pretty safe because those games were really well done. The first one was well done, but it's also, if you go back and play it, it looks a bit rough and it definitely plays rougher. And I think it'd be nice if they went back and tweaked that game a little bit to make it like more congruent with the rest of the franchise, and definitely make it play like number 2 and number 3 did, if at all possible. So we got Nightwolf dropping another $5 in the super chat. ME Remaster Collections Edition with a Shepherd 12-inch statue. My money will fly out of my pocket. I think a lot of you are with us on that. Failed Pyromancer's in the chat. What's happening, brother? How you doing? Glad you could be here. Yeah, we got a good chat going tonight, guys. 44, we had up to 47 at one point. Starbuck Unlimited still hanging out with us. Sinju is here. Saldiest Game is still in the house. He's also moderator, keeping things in check, although we haven't had to get to that point yet where we got to kick anybody out. So it's always good. All right. So great topics. We say 8-4. How are you doing for time? Probably got one time for one more topic.
Yeah, I could fit in one more.
Okay, you sure? Do you need some lubricant first?
Right.
All right. Well, we'll try to keep this next one quick because I know it's Boom's probably talked about this one to death. I'm sure it's been on everybody's topics. It is a fairly big, probably one of our biggest ones of the night, but we'll try to keep it quick. Articles come out that basically Assassin's Creed Valhalla will only run, now get this though, a minimum of 30 frames per second on Xbox Series X. And we saw a lot of people from various sides of the community kind of going berserk. Some people laughing at the Series X saying, the Series X in your 12 teraflops, but it only runs 30, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's like, man, if the Xbox Series X is going to run it at 30, then guaranteed your console ain't running it any better.
Right.
If it is, there's something desperately wrong with whatever's going on in this aspect. So, where do you guys stand on it? And I'll let you chirp on this with Primal first about the whole 30. Like, does it even matter if the game looks really good to you? Like, what's your take?
Say this, it's not going to stop me.
Right.
Like, I'm still going to play it. Plus, this is also early stages of a new generation console. There's going to be trial and error. If they say that they can't do something at this point, it doesn't mean something can't happen later. I'm not worried about it. I'm still excited for the game. It's not going to stop me.
Right. See, there we go. I knew I'd get the quick and easy answer out of Primal. She summed up. Couldn't say it any better than that. Boom. How do you feel about the whole thing? Do you think this is being blown out of proportion? I mean, Assassin's Creed, we saw the last couple of games. Boom. They were pretty phenomenal. Even when they were running at their 30 frames, it's not like the games were unenjoyable. So where do you stand on this? Do you think it's just a developer choice? Because we obviously know, we heard from executives, we heard from the tech guys that Series X is totally capable of the 4K 60. So what do you think is happening here?
It's a bit of a conundrum, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily know, because we have to take into account that this game has probably been in development for at least 2, possibly 3 years. So the question that we have to ask is, when this was originally being made, were the current console. What console were they making it for? Were they making it for next gen? Were they making it for current gen?
Right.
That's the question. Now, it is a bit perplexing that these new consoles are basically beefed up as PCs, and they're actually doing things that PCs can't do. So, what I find to be a little bit of a head scratcher is that they come out and say that, yeah, at the minimum, it's going to run at 30 FPS, but there should be an option. Like they say 4K 30, straight up 4K 30. And the game is probably going to look great because, quite frankly, Odyssey looks amazing. And I put 18 days into that game, OPS, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't bother me. But to be honest with you, there should be an option. Options are good for gamers. And if you have to lower the resolution, where you give us, 1880p as instead of 4K to get that 60 FPS, I think that it should be up to the player, not just a straight up, well, it's 4K 30, suck it.
Right, because they have such beautiful environments. I remember reading about that, and I get it, but you do have a point. Just like the Borderlands, when that came out, you had the option of either, the gameplay or the visual, and majority of the people went for the visual. So
yeah. Well, I guess my question too is when did we as gamers though become so jaded over the technicalities of our games? We never cared about it in generations past. It was never a big thing. It was either the game had good graphics or it didn't. But now everything's about frames, everything's about resolution. And I mean, me personally, when I'm playing my X, and I'm one of the few, I guess I'm in the fewer, I always go for the 4K visual. I go for the 4K over the frame rate. I do like the 60 frames. I'm not going to lie. But the thing is, for me, I didn't spend, several $1,000s on my friggin' TV to play my games at anything less than 4K. I mean, that's why I invested in a 4K TV, so my games would look the best with the highest textures possible. So, look, at the end of the day, I like Assassin's Creed. I don't know if I want the new one, regardless if it's running 30 or 60. I'll see. But, I mean, it's just the questions as to why. And like you said, Boom, I think a large part of it has to do with the fact that this game, was largely, basically finished and completed using older hardware. And this is probably the last sort of current gen Assassin's Creed, much like we saw with Black Flag. I mean, if you go back and you look at Black Flag, that came out on the 360, the PS3, and the Xbox One and PS4. And that game certainly did not ooze like, oh my God, this is an Xbox One PS4 game. Like, it looked good. But other than like the bumped up resolution, you could still tell that game was largely built on the older hardware, and we were just getting some minor benefits. And I think this could be the case here with this game as well. So I don't know. It's their call. At the end of the day, you can't butcher a dev for it. Like I said, if you want to speak with your wallet. Don't buy it. If you're not an Assassin's Creed fan or you just want to send a message to Ubisoft, don't buy it. But it is early, and by the time this game drops and ships, God only knows, they might have things patched, they might have a lot of stuff done, and then they run it 4K. So we really don't know, but I definitely think our new consoles are capable, and that's the biggest thing for me is like we're kind of under that impression, while nobody said it officially, is that that's what we expect when we're going to pay that $400, $500, $600 on these new consoles. Is we want our games to run optimally. We don't want this, like I said, the compromises and all this crap anymore. It needs to be, that's what we're paying for. Otherwise, convince us to upgrade, right? So, any other thoughts on this matter?
No.
Yeah. There you go. No. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the 60 frames, and we all know for certain franchises too, like shooters, for example. When racing games usually hit the 60 frames. Certain franchises definitely run better with it. Some you can get away with a little bit more. I think the key is, as long as the frame rates are consistent and the games look amazing, that's great. Because nothing's worse than games that go up and down, up and down, up and down. If you wanted to go up and down, go have sex with the old lady. So, but that sort of thing, right? So I think that a lot of us are like that. Consistency is good when it comes to performance, right?
I would agree. I think if they listen right now, if they tell you it's going to be a lock 30 where you're not going to have any frame rate dips and you're going to get to 4K, the game is probably going to look gorgeous. And you're probably just going to be so enthralled by the visuals that you're not actually going to give a flying shit if it's playing 60 or not, to be honest with you. But I still think for the people who want it, there should be an option. And if it's not going to be at launch, they should be very forthcoming and say, listen, folks, this is something that we couldn't do, we couldn't achieve, and this is the way it is. But to me, not saying that, not coming out and saying that, I think is painting false hope that there'll be a patch.
Right. That is true. Well, we're going to find out in a couple of months, and we also know that things can change. We saw how the Resident Evil 3 was running on the Xbox One X, and then 3 or 4 days later, they came out with the patch, and it improved significantly. So for whatever reason, sometimes things are a bit rough, and then they get it straightened out. So well, now it's time for, I think we moved on from that. We don't have to beat that topic to death. Everybody's been talking about it. So Drew Zilm, what's going on? He's new. If you got 4K 30 now, that's true. Like a lot of the games, if you got the Pro or especially the Xbox One X, a lot of our games are 4K 30. So, if you're going to buy the new console, wouldn't you want it to output better than what you already have? So kind of makes me wonder now what this game is going to run like on the Xbox One X or on the base model Xbox One or the base model PlayStation. Definitely has me intrigued, but I guess we'll find out soon. So we know that the Assassin's Creed games been basically run at unlocked frame rates on PC. So we've had lots of guys going, well, just get the PC. Yes, we hear you, but we're not PC guys. And that's so. All right, so let's get into it. It is Primal Eve's question of the week. This is going to be a fun one. We changed gears a little bit here. It's going to be fun to get Boom's answer on this one for sure. So, Primal, drop your question.
All right, so what are your celebrity crushes growing up with at a young age, and who are they now?
There you go. Let's let our guests take the floor on this one, and I'd love to hear from people in the chat as well. Your celebrity crushes, whether it be guys, girls, animals, I don't know.
Well, you know what? I didn't have a lot, but there was one particular actress. There was a movie called Adventures in Babysitting back in the 80s.
Oh my God.
And Elizabeth Shue was fucking smoking hot back then. And I had a poster of her in my room and everything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to marry her one day. And of course, that didn't happen. And that's perfectly fine because my wife is amazing. But Elizabeth Shue, I had a massive crush on her when I was a kid. It was crazy.
She's still pretty good looking today, too.
You know who's I don't remember the actress's name. I think anyone will say this. Weird Science. The
brunette with the curly hair?
Yes. Oh my God.
Shit. I can't remember.
From which one? Who?
The movie Weird Science. The girl that they made.
Oh.
That's another movie from the 80s. I was a kid when that came out, and she was like again smoking hot when I was a kid. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So
Kelly LeBrock.
Yes, there you go.
That's what the guys are saying in the chat. Timothy Dixon, Dr. Dinglenut coming in with that info.
Thank you very much for the save. I appreciate it. So yeah, those are my two, and of course, nice. Back in the 80s when I was a kid, obviously, these are the movies that you watch, and these are they were our movie stars. You know what I'm saying? So those are my two picks.
All right. Before I get to Primal's pick, and who's your one today, though, Boom? Anyone besides your wife that gets the old pecker in the wrecker kind of thing?
You know what? Not really, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, again, I only did the two from when I was a kid.
Right.
I mean, there's no one that really just makes me melt or anything right now, because everyone's full of shit these days. So.
Yeah. No.
There you go. Awesome. Let's get to the chat, man, because we got some awesome. We got failed pyromancer with Topanga, and I don't even know who that is, but we'll go with it.
World fucking Danielle something. The fuck was her name? I know who you're talking about.
We got Blue Moon FC says Madonna. Failed also said 6 from Blossom. Emmanuel says Topanga. Crispy Bomb Emma Stone. We got Infinite with Vincent D'Onofrio. Fastback says, he agrees with your choice on Elizabeth Shue. Drew Zilm, Paula Abdul. There's one I haven't heard.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Emmanuel A. Stacy Dash. Yes, she was sexy with a nice set of party darts. Let me tell you. Infinite. Kirsten Dunst from Axel, and today it's Scarlett Johansson. Joe Dunmore is Linda Carter from Wonder Woman. Yeah, she's still good looking for an older lady. let's see here. Vogel's Krieg's in the chat, and he says Selma Hayek. Man, yeah, she's still and she's still smoking hot. Kelly the Brock was the answer for that. We got Infinite says Jennifer Love Hewitt, Emmanuel A. Jessica Rabbit.
That's a funny one.
When I was young, Lara Croft. No, I'm older. The older Lara Croft. Jesse Darby says his crush is Primal. So there you go, Primal. You got to hook up with Jesse. Brian F. Linda Hamilton, growing up, and Yvonne Strahovski now. Emmanuel Infa's Nest from Star Wars now. Infa's Nest? Infas? I don't know. I think that's it. Drew Barrymore had a crush on her since the 80s from Matt Birds. There you go. Fastback Wendy. Is that like Wendy from from the burgers? Phoebe Case from Fast Times says Dr. Dinglenut. Failed Pirates. Lady Thompson. Failed's like dropping like a whole bunch. He had a whole porno mag. Night with Kelly Kapowski. All right. So let's get over to Primals, and then I'll give you mine. So Primal, who are your oldest? Who was your first, and who was your latest?
Shit. I had a slew. Like, I'm a late 80s, early 90s person. Kiefer Sutherland, Lost Boys, Bad Boy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that. Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Home Improvement, because I'm kind of on the younger side. Kevin Sorbo, Hercules.
Yeah.
He was Hercules. Jennifer Tilly from The Bride of Chucky. She's really hot, and
yes.
I like
with that little sensual voice of hers.
Yeah. I know, and then like the body alone, just fucking. Yeah. That's about. I don't know. I've had so many little crushes here and there. I was never into the boy bands or anything like that.
Right.
Like nowadays, though, I had a thing for Jason Momoa for a long time, and I do say I want to be Kelly often. But I'm actually going to go along with Boom because I have the same kind of thought process. It's like there's no one genuinely attractive,
right,
to me in Hollywood nowadays because everybody's just like, I don't know, whatever outside appearance is ruined by whatever the fuck they're doing. So.
Right. Well, for me, I mean, one of my earliest that I remember, and I don't know if either one of you will remember this. She was a singer. She was a pop singer. She's actually from Britain, and in the 80s, and she sang a song called "I Want to Have Some Fun," and her name was Samantha Fox.
Oh, that's a
I
good one,
remember
dude.
Samantha Fox.
Yes, that's a fantastic one.
She literally was a fox. I had posters of her on my wall, and yeah, so she was amazing. Saw her in Playboy a few years back. They had her back in as an older woman, obviously, and that was good to see her because she still looked really good. Belinda Carlisle was another one I had quite the hots for, and well, even still do. She's pretty amazing looking, even as an older lady. For today's crushes, I'm going to have to go out and say Jennifer Aniston blows. Something about that woman, I love Jennifer Aniston. I think she's phenomenal, and I can't believe how good she looks. Like I like her better looking now than I did when she was like young and preppy back on like Friends, you know what I mean? Like I like her look now. And another honorable mention, I guess you could say, would be Selena Gomez. I know she's really young, and I sound really awkward by saying that because she's like 24, 25 now, but I don't know, whatever her age is, but yeah, she's quite hot. I don't know, something about that girl. So yeah, that's right. Timothy Dixon throwing in facts that Sam Fox did start as a topless model in a newspaper. I think it was called The Sun back in the day. That's right. So yeah, those are my ticks.
I remember that for some reason. The Sun.
Drew Zilm likes Scarlett Johansson. Everybody likes Scarlett Johansson. Oh shit. Yeah. China from the WWE back in the day. That's a different pick. Yeah. There you go, guys. That was a fantastic question. So there you go. There you have it. There's our picks. Anything else you guys want to add to that one, or no? We good to go?
Yeah, we're good.
Boom's like, let's get off of this awkward topic. This is weird. All right, guys. So Primal, if you want to stay or you want to bounce out, it's up to you.
I do have to leave. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully this ongoing thing, my hours have changed at work due to COVID going on, so I might be leaving here early, maybe another episode or two, depending on what's going on in my state. But yeah, I'm gonna have to leave you guys tonight so I can work.
Get some sleep. Yeah.
So Primal's out. We won't keep the podcast too long. I know it's late for Boom too, but we just a couple more quick more topics.
We hang around. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, have a good night, Primal. It was great hanging out, and we definitely got to get you back on Breakfast with Boom.
Yes, please. I do miss it. I wish I was able to before when I had a day off or two, but then they started doing us full time again, and it was just a mess. But yes, it was great talking to you, Noof. It's always a pleasure. The chat, you guys are always awesome. I'm very excited to see you guys every week. And I hope everyone has a good night.
That's right. Stay safe, Primal, and have some wet dreams.
Yeah. You know it. I'll be up to prune fingers. Something. All
right. Primal sleeps with the bucket by her bed, but it's not for puke.
All right.
Later. All right, take care. All right, guys, don't forget she'll be back next week, so bear with us. But hey, I still got the amazing Mr. Boomstick with me for the last couple of topics. Boom, you probably got to see today. And this is one of those things. It's a very light topic. People will make a big deal over shit like this, and I don't know why. But Sony unveiled the PlayStation Studios brand to launch alongside the PS5 called PlayStation Studios. They did this little video of how that's going to look. What did you think of it? I know it's a small thing to talk about, but what do you think it means for the brand, for its fans, and what did you think of the actual overall sort of graphic style?
I mean, listen, obviously it looks like the MCU, right? And I have no problem with that. I mean, it's nice to know that everything's under one banner. A new console, they need to put out some new marketing. I like that they showed all the games, right? They showed Last of Us, they showed Aloy, they showed everything that a PlayStation fan would love about the brand was in that little clip. And then of course we've seen the sacred symbols, right, pop up there. So I thought it looked fantastic. I don't see what the hate is. I mean, listen, if you look at the Xbox One, some people might say, well, that looks kind of like Marvel too, but Marvel did it first. And I think that Marvel does it well. The Xbox does it fine, and it's enjoyable. And this was nice to see. It was something new, something we haven't seen before. So I actually was digging it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. I thought it looked fantastic. It looked clean. It looked sophisticated. I love seeing the character reflections into the symbols, and they all drop in place. And it had a cool music. I think it looks awesome. So not really much to say. Like some people out there will make literal podcasts on something like this, and it's just like, guys, it's Sony Studios, and it just means they're all under one recognizable banner, and basically that's your banner for quality. So when you see that, you generally know like you got some top tier talent coming at you with really good games. So I can't say really much more than that. I mean, what's there to say? It looks phenomenal. You know what I mean? But if you were to do a parody on this, here's one that would be really funny. Remember the little blocks that you give a kid when they're young that have like the triangles, the O's, and the squares and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should get one of those blocks and have this like a little CGI kid, and he comes out and shakes the blocks. You know what I mean? And then the blocks fall out on the floor everywhere, and then he like throws it down because he's angry. His blocks fall out, and the PlayStation controller pops out of the middle, and then he starts playing a game. I think something like that would be so cool as like a little parody graphic.
I mean, listen, it would be interesting, but you know what you said, which I thought is how slick it is, how clean it is. So, it does the job. It shows you all of PlayStation's top tier talent for their characters in the best light possible. And it closes out with the sacred symbols. I mean, what more do you want?
Exactly. Like it's nothing to get your panties up in a knot over. That's for sure. Like some people just take it and run with it and make up some crap. But all right, let's get into the next one. This is also PlayStation related because yes, guys, this is a multi-console podcast, much like Boom's, where we don't just consistently talk about one particular PlayStation or spend our whole podcast bashing one particular console or another. That's not how we roll. In the latest Sony Interactive Entertainment update, they're pleased to announce that Marvel's Iron Man VR. So if you are a VR aficionado, I know this has been high on the radar. Speaking of Marvel and Marvel Universe, July the 3rd. So just around the corner from Marvel's Iron Man. So, Boom, I think pretty sure you got the VR, right?
Oh, you bet your ass I do. And so you know
you're
what?
Probably getting this day one.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, listen, I have been a supporter of PlayStation VR since day one. I bought every game with the unit when it launched.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, I sold that privately and then rebought the updated version with the HDR pass through.
Mm-hmm.
And I still support it. They've had some really good games on it. Iron Man is going to be fantastic. It's an MCU game. It is an exclusive, just like Spider-Man is. And listen, if you ever wanted to buy a VR, if something was going to make you buy a VR, this is probably that game.
Well, Astrobot was one hell of a damn good game to buy.
That's another
As a
good
matter
one.
of fact, that
Moss
one
is
demo,
another one.
that one Star Wars mission from Battlefront where you're in the X-wing, that had me sold on VR, man. I was like, holy shit, that was just nuts. Even whatchamacallit's really good. The racing game, what's the one? Drive Club VR. That's insane.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't care for that. I tell you what I did like was Wipeout VR. Now that was awesome.
Yeah, VR gets a bad rap, and I'm not sure why. I mean, yeah, it's still a growing technology, but it's so much fun and it's so different. And why it gets so much of a bad, I think people are just afraid of it. They're afraid of things they don't know. I don't know. I might have to go and buy another PSVR like to play. So with this Iron Man game, have you seen, because it's been pretty like under wraps. Like I haven't really seen it played up, a lot of trailers to figure out how this is going to work.
There hasn't been anything outside of Iron Man flying. They haven't really went into gameplay. I'm hoping that in one of these upcoming Geoff Keighley events, we get some sort of a 20-minute deep dive into what you're going to actually be doing.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they can nail the Iron Man feel in the same way that the Anthem game kind of nailed the Iron Man feel, and it's not an Iron Man game, but it's kind of like, man, if Iron Man had a game, this would be it. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get it right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
Well, there you go, guys. July 3rd. If you have a PSVR and you're interested in Iron Man, it definitely could be one to keep on the radar. I've heard some good feedback so far from it, so I guess we're gonna wait to find out what the game really is like. Hopefully, it's not an on rails, like really just more of a techie demo kind of a deal. So we'll see, but it should be good. Getting down to the last couple of topics here for tonight. Before I get into my final topic, which is more of a movie-related thing, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima, since we're on a PlayStation roll here. They just dropped it Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. They have a state of play, and they're going to be showing off a lot of footage on this game, which comes out in July, middle of July, I do believe. So who's getting Ghost of Tsushima? Are you excited for it? Is it a reason to buy a PlayStation if you haven't bought one already? Boomstick, where do you land on this one?
No, I have the collector's edition already pre-ordered. I mean, it's not even a real question. I mean, look, here's the thing. Everyone that listens to any of my shows hears me on other people's shows guesting. I'm upfront, man. I really love what Sony does with their games. Now, you know what? Listen, here's the thing. Maybe it's because I'm an older gamer. I'm pushing 50, right? And I grew up playing with the single player stuff. Not as great as multiplayer is. Sometimes, at least for me, I just want to sit down on my couch and get enthralled in a story, get enthralled in a character. And Sony delivers that. They deliver that time and time again. That's why that's why I have a PlayStation 4 Pro. This is why I buy all their first party exclusives, and why most of the time I buy their collector's edition, because quite frankly, I really enjoy supporting the brand that way. Now, I don't play my third party stuff on there, but Ghost of Tsushima looks like it's going to be a winner. Now, I am going to say this as a caveat. I'm hoping that Ghost of Tsushima for me is going to give me the same feeling and excitement that Aloy did for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm hoping that it's not going to potentially turn into a Days Gone, because Days Gone I liked in the beginning, and it completely overstayed its welcome with me. And after 30 hours, I never picked it back up. and I probably won't ever again. So if it gives me the the new franchise, fresh smell, clean new car smell, if you will, and it's that action romp that tells an amazing story like Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm going to be all in. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, graphically, we've already seen various videos of it running, like in engine and stuff, and it looks insane. Again, it's just amazing what Sony's top tier talent seems to consistently push out of a console it was designed on to run on a 1.8 teraflop machine. So there you go, guys. I've said this all along, and I maintain this: the talent of a dev at the end of the day is even more important than the power that they have within the box. I think that's great if they have the great, if the better your tools, the better off obviously things can get. But man, Sony's guys seem to just keep pushing the games to different levels. It's just crazy. I'm not here to be a big boost in Sony's bubble, but I got to call a spade, and it is what it is. Their studios are just right now, they're on top of their game, and I can't wait to go to Tsushima. I just hope it's like, it looks intriguing. I hope the action this is the thing, is how the gameplay, how it's going to feel. Is it going to feel visceral? I hope it has a little bit of a Rise, Son of Rome style of feel, obviously without too much of the quick time stuff, but that's what I'm going for in a samurai setting, because honestly, if this is going to be a game that's butchering tough, like Sekiro, then I'm going to pitch it across my yard, because I'm not into that crap. I can promise you this, and you can hear this on this show, I will never buy a From Software game ever again. I just don't like them. They're good games, but they're not for me. I will never buy another one again unless they come out and tell me there's got some fucking mode options in it for different player types, because I can't stand the cheap ass, crazy ass bosses and stuff. I'm just not into these half an hour battles. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent of another kind. Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. Shuhei Yoshida says he's got very high hopes for this one, and he's already basically like kind of touting this could be a game of the year contender kind of deal. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure the characters are going to be great. It is a Sucker Punch studio that's making that. If you guys are not familiar, Sucker Punch, some of their big games was Infamous Second Son, which was a pretty cool game. So we know they can do graphics and stuff. This game looks phenomenal. So I guess we'll find out in a couple of days where we're at, because at this point they're going to show you the goods, because it's just a couple of months from coming out. So I definitely want to get it. I'm super interested in it with you. Super interested in it. And like I said, guys, it's another looks like another A-list game from the Sony platform. So and it comes out about a month or so after The Last of Us 2. So June and July, guys, brace your wallets and brace your time, because it's gonna be a couple good months ahead here. So can't wait. Thursday, guys, tune in and check that one out. Whew, all right. Any more thoughts on Ghosts, or should we move the last topic down?
Yeah, I think we've all said. I mean, listen, it's a big first party game. It's by a developer that hasn't seen a game put out in quite some time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table.
Absolutely. I think it's gonna be good. I really do. Failed Pyromancer's on that, bro. He'll help me. Failed says he'll help me with Bloodborne. I don't even have that anymore. Actually, did I download that? I think I can re-download that one. Depends on which account I have it on. So I've had a couple of different PlayStation accounts, and I can't remember if Bloodborne was on my original Newf Nukem or my Newf Nukem 76. But I know I had it because somebody gifted me that game one time. Last topic of the night before we get out of here, guys. This one's interesting. Like in this show as well, we do a little bit of movies, and not everything's all game related. And I thought this was interesting. I saw this article today, and it is about the Batman. If you guys aren't familiar, there's a new Batman movie coming out, and it stars the guy from Twilight, Robert Pattinson. I know that created quite the stir on the internet alone when he was cast as the Batman. In his latest article, apparently Robert Pattinson basically refuses to work out or bulk up for the role of Batman because he's afraid to set an image precedent for guys like that. Every guy that comes into a superhero role got to be a big muscle bound, freak kind of a deal, because we saw how a lot of people, like we saw Christian Bale, he bulked up for Batman. We saw how Ben Affleck put on a lot of muscle for Batman. So Henry Cavill bulked up a lot when he did Superman. So a lot of these guys are doing the superhero roles are putting on the muscle to look the part, because you look at the comics, most of these guys are pretty jacked. They're not exactly like skin and bones, right? So Robert Pattinson, he's going to be the Batman, and he refuses to work out because he doesn't want to set an image precedent. So boom, what do you think about this? In chat, feel free to weigh in this as well. I mean, what do you even think, first of all, as Robert Pattinson as Batman?
I actually don't think it's a bad pick, to be honest with you. I think he has a lot of range as an actor. We've seen him, you see him as the Twilight guy, but he has done so many, like fantastic award-winning films. Again, I'm an action guy. I like zombies. I like horror. I know that everyone calls he was in a film called The Lighthouse. That apparently, it was supposed to. Again, it's not my kind of film, but it showed his range apparently, and I believe he's a good actor. Now, I am going to say this: this just goes to show you how the MCU does things so much differently. Because in the contract, when he was hired to play Batman, there should have been a stipulation that says that you have to look the part. You can't have a skinny Batman. I'm sorry. I mean, if you're trying to tell maybe Batman Year One where he wasn't as bulked up, but from what we understand, this is going to be, characters that are already, in the universe. They're going to supposedly it's going to be like the Long Halloween where he's going to be in Arkham, so supposedly solving murders. I mean, they could probably get away by giving him a thicker rubber suit, but the way that Marvel does it is they have all of their actors look the part of a superhero. Now, I understand his stance on body shaming, right? Like, listen, I'm going to be 50, man. I don't have a body like I had when I was, fucking 25 or 30.
Right.
But if I was hired to be to play the next Captain America or something, you bet your fucking ass you'd be able to bounce a quarter off my stomach, because that's what they're paying you to do. So it is a little shocking that WB would allow this to happen, but it's strange for sure.
Yeah, definitely strange. Could you imagine if this was coming from an actor like Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously up in their late 60s, early 70s now? Could you imagine if Arnold decided he was going to do one more Terminator movie and he puts on like 100 pounds of weight and he's like all fat and rotund? Could you imagine? He's like, no, guys, I really don't want to work out anymore. I just prefer to eat the cookies, and I want to show up at the studio and make all my money, and I'm going to have the big fat gun, and I'll roll out there with the big old Uzi gun. I will just come out there in a extra, it'll be in a wheelchair, and then I will just shoot at you all, and nobody can kill me, So because I don't want to get out there and work out. Could you imagine if I had to say that to the studio? They look at me and say, Arnold, you're freaking crazy. What the hell are you doing? Right? So, yeah, and I get it. He's getting paid a lot of money, man. If you're going to pay me a couple $1 million and you say, man, it'd be cool if you put on some muscle for the role, I'd be fucking all over that shit, right? They got trainers. They got people that can do the proper diets for these guys, Stallone said he didn't enjoy gaining a ton of weight for Copland, but, he said he did enjoy eating all the crap that he used to never eat, like donuts and cakes and shit. But, it's not easy to go through those transformations, and I definitely get that from an actor's perspective. Ask Christian Bale. Oh, my God. Like, that Christian Bale has gone through so many transformations for his roles. I don't know how the dude's like, I don't even know how he's even healthy. Like, it's got to be hard on your internals to go up from 112 pounds for one of his movies, like The Machinist or something like that, skin and bones, and you bulk up for Batman. And then
who's another actor that does that a lot, Noof, is Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe, like for instance, the other guys, right? He put on fucking 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He was this old, broken down, fucking, big gut, character from the movie. And then you look at him in some of his other movies, and he's thin and he's all robust and muscular. It's got to be hard on the body for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe Dunmore. I got a few guys loving my Arnold in the chat, guys, and thankfully Arnold actually did. I don't know if you guys saw this, but PlayStation related Predator Hunting Ground.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his character in the game now, so you can actually play as Dutch, an older version of Dutch, but he actually voiced this one, unlike the Terminator and the Mortal Kombat game, which was voiced by a pretty poor actor, if you got to ask me. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And thanks for the love, guys. You know, I love doing the Arnold. I've done it on Boom's podcast many times, and it's always good to hear some support for that. I love having fun with that accent. And one thing my friends have told me that I can do that's different than a lot of Arnold impersonators is a lot of people try to impersonate Arnold, and all they'll do is his one-liners. That's all they just say, like, get to the chopper, that sort of stuff, right? But I can actually like do a conversation and answer.
You certainly can, yes.
I did a whole podcast like that one time, like 30 something minutes long. And man, my throat was almost gone by the time I got to the end. I was like, I don't know if I could do this for 2 hours, but shit, man. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I gotta love when people slowly kill themselves for entertainment as a manual. Thanks, Dr. Dingle. I appreciate it. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for the topics tonight. Boom, is there anything you'd like to add, obviously, before you head out of here, topics wise, or anything maybe we didn't really touch on that you'd like to just put out there?
No, I think this was a fantastic show, dude. You had all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and I think it was it was a strong show. Lots to talk about, lot to look forward to as gamers, and you know what, like it's. I didn't get a chance. You know, I will say this: I didn't get a chance to answer Primal Eve's question from, I believe it was last week. Right now, as it currently stands, for me, my game of the year is Final Fantasy VII. Now that is going to change. I got up to the beginning of chapter. I might be at the end of chapter 10, and I know there's 18 chapters. I'm loving the game. I'm absolutely I completely adore the game. I just had to take a break. I want to play some. I want to play something else, and I will eventually get back to it.
Absolutely. Good stuff, man. Again, shout out to the chat. Brian F. Rico Dennis. What's happening, guys? Spider-Man still hanging out with us. JD Gamer drops $5 in the super chat. He said, hey, New from Boom, just want to drop some support. We'll greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate everybody that came out to be with us tonight. Those of you who can't watch this live, obviously, because of time zones, we'd love to hear your feedback and support on the replays, that sort of stuff. We'll drop the links for you tomorrow. But most importantly, I want to thank Primal Eve for being here. Sorry she couldn't stay the whole show. That might be the way it's going to be for the next couple of weeks until things settle down at her job. But in the meantime, hell of a guest this week, guys. One of my favorites, Mr. Boomstick XL, brother. I think you had a few fans show up here in the chat tonight who come out to support you, and that is fantastic. Tell people where they can find you. I know you've got a lot of podcasts, so drop them here, brother.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I mean, you guys and gals are all freaking awesome, and you're the reason why we keep coming back each and every week to do it. Not for clout, not for credit, not for a pat on the ass, for the fact that we just enjoy talking about games and we get a chance to hang out with this outstanding community. So, I mean, obviously, you know where you can find me. Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube, Mr. Boomstick XL on Twitter. And, of course, we have two massive shows coming up. Thursday's Xbox Factor podcast I have the show half written already. And, of course, the band of brothers that we've become, Zemi Games, Insipid Ghost, and Mr. Badbit will be handling that. And of course, Friday mornings, Breakfast with Boom. My God, it's a stacked panel. We have King from the Iron Lords. We have Crispy Bomb making an appearance, a return appearance, and making his first time guest appearance ever on that show is iDizzy from Twitter. And of course, we have BitCloud Gaming and Mr. Badbit joining me. So yeah, tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Friday morning for a really fire show. And if you missed today's show, I had Brad Sams from Therot.com join us for about 40 minutes. And he had some really compelling answers for what Microsoft needs to do in their next video showcase. So yeah, check that out. It was about a 90-minute show. I think you're really going to dig it.
Yes, indeed, guys. Go check that out. And like I said, the thing is, if you subscribe to Boom's channel, hit the notification button, all that good stuff. And make sure you follow him on Twitter as well, because he's pretty consistent on staying up to date with that and sharing out his links and tweets. So, follow him on Twitter and show that love and support. Man has grown crazy over the past little while. And I'm super honored and happy that he could be here to be on my show tonight, because I know it's, like I said, it's a bit late on the Eastern time zone, but we'll have him back again here soon for sure. To everybody in the chat, you guys are amazing. You make this the reason we come out and do this. You're fantastic. This chat was like really good all night. Everybody's very respectful. Everybody's having fun. And that's what I love to see, man, because we're all gamers at heart. Doesn't matter what logo you stand behind the most. We all have our favorites and our preferences, and that's cool. No one's ever going to fault anyone for that. That's life. We all have a favorite burger, a pizza, a car, consoles. It's the same fucking thing, but
it really is.
with consoles, it's just with console gaming, it's just there are certain crowds out there to just take this shit way too seriously and way too far, and it enjoys people's enjoyment of it at the end of the day, right at the end of the day. So, you speak with your wallet, and this stuff is all good and all fun. You guys know where to find me. I'm always in the gutter. It's Noof Nukem on Xbox. It's Noof Nukem on PlayStation. It is Noof Nukem 76. Community game night coming up this Saturday. It's looking at this point like it's going to be Forza Horizon 4. So if you guys have uninstalled it and you're looking to get into that game on the weekend, it will be, I do believe we're going to try for it at 8 Eastern. So that would be 6 Mountain Time. We're going to be playing, obviously, on Xbox. So download your Forza Horizon 4, get your shit up to date. If you're looking to play, we'll get as many people into the game as you can. That game is really good because it's like competitive, but not crazy. We have a lot of fun. It's a great way to chill, relax, meet some people in the community. That's what community game night is all about. So could change. I think the voting right now is GTA 5, Forza Horizon 4, sorry, and the other selection was Mortal Kombat 11. Now, my personal choice for that vote was Mortal Kombat 11 because I've been dying to play some fighting games, but depending on how many people show up for community game night, who knows? Maybe we'll squeeze in 1 or 2 games, but we'll love to see you there. Four time for Horizon, again, that would be 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time on Xbox. Make sure you add me. Send me a message if you don't, so that way I can add you on my friends list, put you into the chat. We can have 16 people in the party. We'll get everybody in. If there's too many people that can't make the game, what we do is we rotate people in and out. That's how we do it for the shooters or any other game, but we keep everybody active, engaged, and having a good time. Outside of that, tomorrow night I will be on Wilmy Hood's podcast, Gaming Outside the Box. Check that out on Wilmy Hood's channel. It is happening tomorrow night, I do believe, at 8 p.m. if I'm correct. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 Mountain Time. Wilmy Hood's channel, Gaming Outside the Box. And he's got a great panel on not only his usuals, but he's got the one and only Dealer Gaming there tomorrow night, and I will be there with them. So we'll give our thoughts on whatever the hell is happening tomorrow and a whole lot more. But that's it, guys. Have yourself a great night. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, fantastic.